What up, everybody? How are you? I am feeling kind of festive tonight. I guess it's Friday, so Shabbat Shalom. We are fastly approaching the solstice. We are approaching Hanukkah and Christmas. So I'm feeling good. I have lots of really nice Christmas chocolates that I'm eating right now. I bought some tapenade and some good crackers and a Parmesan that I'm going to eat. And I'm going to mull some wine and I'm going to cook a curry tonight. And I'm going to have a nice bath. And then the next 7 days are going to be another 7-day stretch. So let's do it. I'm ready. So we are here to talk about our weekend reading, and I'm feeling like it's really just building on everything that's led us up to this. You know, all week we've been looking at the father wound, the mother wound, the inner child healing that we need to do that's, having an effect on our finances and our love life, right? And maybe some of the other areas of our lives. Everything is connected, even though it doesn't look like it directly. So we have been able to maybe see certain patterns come to light throughout this week. And so we've also been asked to really reflect on those to see like what we've learned throughout our lives through these experiences and how we can sort of embody the wisdom and not have to play out those lessons anymore. Because we are rounding out this year. We have left the old cycle behind. We are being rebirthed into this new self, into this up level, into this new timeline, a new paradigm where we can really start living a new experience of life and start really like growing into some more of our potential. But it's just, we have to really determine within ourselves to release the old ways of being, the old mindsets, the old wounds, the old assumptions, the old habits, all the old ways that we used to show up and like perceive things and react to things. Like, let's just pretend like we got amnesia and we are starting a new life, new personality, new everything. And you can take everything that you love with you and you can decide, okay, going into this next new year, what do I not want to bring with me? What are the insecurities that like really aren't like having that hold on me anymore? Have you noticed that the more you become aware of these patterns, the less they have an effect on you? I've been going through so I told you guys recently that I suddenly realized like I hadn't gone and gotten like any physicals or like doctor's checkups or anything in a while. And because I just never have any health issues, thank God. And I'm, all my systems are good to go all the time. So I never really need to go to the doctor. And I just all of a sudden was like, I need to go get a checkup. And so I never get sick, but I would say once a year or maybe once every year and a half, I'll have some weird like mystery ailment that will come over me. And I'm very hypochondriacal. So I will like go straight to like the most fatalistic fears, and like there's never like a small thing. It's just like it's always like, oh my God, worst case scenario. So I went and like just had it started with like one doctor checkup, went and saw about it about a week ago, and they were like, yes, usually the results will take a week. And it's been a week today, and I was like, okay, I see the pattern, because in the past I would have been waiting on pins and needles. I would have been like sick at myself, praying about it, day and night, like worrying, sick. And like this time around, I'm just like, I'm sure it's fine. And then I'm like, if it's not, nothing's going to help me as far as like being worried about it. So it's just like, wow, I've been able to observe that pattern, but I've also been able to observe showing up for it in a more evolve the way that I have in the past, but still I'll have tendencies like coming up on like a week where I'm like, oh, I should have gotten a call today, or like, or I wish I like text. Text is good. Text means there's nothing to talk about. But I should have got a text today. And I'm like, no, in the past, I would have been worried all weekend. This is the universe giving me an opportunity. Are you going to be worried all weekend? No. I'm going to trust. I'm going to have a different experience of life now. I'm going to assume that things are good, right? There are people out there that just feel like everything's fine and assume that things are good because their experience of life has that been, that things pretty much work out. Whereas like other people may have had things that were very traumatic and they've built up defense mechanisms to try to cushion themselves from the blow of more traumatic experiences, from things that have thrown them off course or whatever. So they're more vigilant, they're more defensive. So we're trying to overcome these patterns, right? So that we can relax and live authentically instead of living in the impression that we're in survival mode, right? So our cards for the weekend that we pulled, so I wrote up the Instagram post this morning on Liz_Taylor_Magick. You can go follow me there or at Light Love Magic on Instagram, but Liz Taylor, I do more stuff on there. Oh, while we're at it, by the way, like this video, comment, subscribe to this channel. I want to grow this channel, trying to spread this message and these messages out to others. So every action that you take on these videos helps to put me in a wider reach and get to the top of those search bars and things so people can scroll and discover these videos. So thank you very much. Also, I have in the description box below, I have like affiliate links for some of the decks that I use. If you were like, oh, I want to buy that deck, you can use my link to go to Amazon and get them, and I will get like a couple of pennies off of it. But also, if you get anything else over the next couple of weeks, I might get some pennies off of that too randomly, because that's how the affiliate thing works on Amazon. So just letting you know. And then also I have a PayPal link if anybody wants to donate to the channel. It's much appreciated, but you don't have to, but you can because people have asked about it. Okay, so our cards: release, choice, gentleness, followed by 8 of Pentacles, followed by 2 of Pentacles, followed by the Hermit. Let us unpack. Let us pray. Okay, so we talked about releasing those old patterns. So these 3 cards here are talking about exactly that. We are at an impasse in this moment. This is an initiation moment for us. We are at a Y point in the road or a fork in the road. And what that fork in the road is we can step onto a new paradigm of our life, a new timeline, a new experience that we've never had before. We can achieve things that we never thought possible. We can, be more optimistic, have more fulfillment, have more satisfying relationships with the people around us and whatnot, have more ease, more abundance, more harmony. But we have to make it up within our minds to release the old things that have held us back. And we have a feeling, we know that what that is, and we do not want to make the mistake of continuing to repeat old patterns or make the mistake of micromanaging and being overly controlling with our life either, right? So the gentleness card does talk about being gentle and going with the flow and being at ease. Water makes an impression over time, but gently. It also really warns not to repeat old patterns or fall back into old tendencies, because you will get the same. If you want something different, you have to do something different. So it talks about gentle change and transformation and being gentle with yourself through a transformation. But it's also, we need to release the past, release the past conditioning from the things that we witnessed in our childhood, the things that we have experienced in our past relationships, the things that old exes have said to us. We need to release our exes. We need to release old heartbreaks. We need to release old failures and old embarrassments and whatever that, has put a stain or a shadow on us that we carry around. And we need to make our decision that when we take this path to leave the others behind, right? We're making it up in our mind to go forward and to not linger in the past in, things that have kept us going, this way and that, trying to balance, the new self with the old self, or trying to say, okay, well, maybe this will work out. And if not, I've got this on the back burner or whatever. That whole trying to balance two things at once or have your cake and eat it too. We can't do that anymore. It's time to move forward. So choose your path, release your inhibitions, release the cords that are holding you down to anything else that's not serving you, that's not really letting you evolve or grow. It's just stagnant. Release your fears, release your reservations, release your white-knuckled grip on control or expectations of how things are going to go, and just surrender. Allow, see what happens. Take a risk, So let go, release. Make it up your mind to move forward and choose your path, and don't have this indecision that's keeping you wobbling and in a stalemate, essentially, right? You don't want to be caught between who you were and who you are becoming. There are certain parts of your life and the way that you were and the way that you saw things and the way that you told the stories about the way things happened that you have to put in the past and allow yourself to move forward, right? Like, even say, if you want to have a baby and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to have a baby. There's still going to be this mourning period of leaving your old life behind, because before you have a baby, you can do whatever you want. After you have a baby, you got that baby sitting there needing you to survive. So that is an exciting forward, progress, right? But it's also something that requires sacrifice. It's scary, and you have to allow something to fall away, a part of your freedom that, is very precious, right? So it's difficult. So, it's maybe having certain dreams, but having conflicting desires, hidden conflicting desires, is keeping you from moving forward. Examine those, right? Say you want something, but there's some subconscious fear that is a conflict of interests to what you're calling in. Like, say you think you want to call in a committed partnership, but you're terrified of getting hurt or losing yourself within commitment, right? You've never experienced anything that's not a meshment. So maybe you avoid commitment because you think that it inevitably equals enmeshment, where you lose yourself, you lose your independence, right? And someone, it punishes you for trying to be yourself. You know what I mean? So that would have a subconscious effect of putting up a defense mechanism around you to push away a committed relationship. If you want success but are afraid of the fact that you'll have to have more responsibilities, or you're afraid that it's going to take all your time away, or the fact that people are going to, try to take advantage of you because of money, or you're not wanting to pay the taxes or do the things that have to do with maintaining money, then you're not going to allow yourself to become successful, because you're going to fear success. So watch out for those hidden conflicting desires that are keeping you in a stalemate of a tug of war with yourself. Also, the Eight of Pentacles talks about being the apprentice and the student, and it was under release. And so in context with release, I think that we need to release this notion that we still have to learn so much before we can go forward. It's let go of being be the perpetual student, but let go of holding yourself back, thinking that you have to be at some kind of perfection state before you can start sharing and putting out there what you're doing, or getting out there and doing it professionally, or If you can go, or, maybe you're like, oh, I'm not like ready for a relationship. I've got so much work on myself to do. It's like, well, we always have work on ourselves to do, right? So it's like, don't push it off forever. Like, life is happening all around you now, like party and do the work, right? So don't feel like you're having to constantly fix and perfect everything before you're worthy. You are worthy now. You're never going to be ready, so you're ready now. Release the old lessons by being different, by showing up and responding to life differently than you did. When these familiar lessons come back, when these familiar patterns come back, do something differently. Look to all that you've learned from the past and make a wise decision using discernment and like logic and reason, looking back to see, okay, like how did this work out before? Why do I think that that's how it played out? Okay, how can I do it differently so it's not playing out again this next time? Because if we take our old patterns into the next cycle, as we learn from that Scorpio, like the Scorpio eclipse season, it's like the lessons are going to get harder. So you don't want to keep repeating the same cycles. You want to really let those go, right? And so we are making up our minds to choose to be in a state of love, to make our decisions based on a state of excitement, enthusiasm, optimism, expansion, a sense of our soul's desire and a sense of purpose and a higher sense of purpose, right? And a desire to share and a desire to, earn, through a process of building a vessel of faith, of self-worth, right? So make up your mind and stick to it. It takes mental discipline. It takes self-mastery, right? Mind over matter. Stop trying to have your cake and eat it too. If you're like weighing out a bunch of options and you're just like spinning your wheels, like stop doing that. That burns a lot of energy. It burns a lot of emotion and time and willpower, right? Sometimes it's just a way of keeping you in indecision. So don't have analysis paralysis either. And don't try to juggle too much. If you have to juggle a bunch right now, try to keep a sense of fun and lightheartedness. I know I've got to juggle a lot right now, and it's just like, that's just how it has to be. But I need to also keep a spirit of celebration, because I don't want to miss out on the whole holiday season. I don't want to get into like burnout mode or depression or start going into like a negative, bitter, angry, salty spiral either, right? So be careful what you're juggling. And be careful who you're juggling, and be careful how, like, just act in integrity, right? And fairness. And then gently reflect. Hermit time. I'm going to hermit it up tonight. Hermit time is on the horizon. But also the hermit goes within and takes the insight from the experience, right? So over the weekend, be gentle with yourself. Look back on those patterns and try to set yourself up in a way that you can anticipate and see those little patterns coming up, and use your wisdom to move forward in a new way that's in alignment with your higher self, right? And maybe, it's like a whole new way of being. And I don't know if you've ever gotten a pair of like new, really stiff leather boots, and it takes a while to break them in. And so our new self, our higher self that we're trying to like embody this up level and be more like our higher self with this new fresh soul and this new timeline, it feels like those stiff leather boots, right? But with every step, we're making those boots our own, and we're walking and moving through the world in a different way, right? And so just be faithful and confident that your steps are ordered, and that as long as you keep your heart and your mind and your soul and your strength set on your higher ideals and a higher purpose, and do things from a state of love and not fear, lack, and doubt. Remember, like the seed level of where we act from has that vibration in it. So we want to take actions from love and hope and optimism and not fear, lack, or doubt, right? Because when we take actions based in fear, we actually expand upon darkness instead of transmuting it, okay? So, good luck. We have release those old patterns, cycles, and lessons. When they present, do something differently, right? Don't keep repeating the same way, the same ones. Don't stay in the same grade, graduate. Make up your mind to move forward into the new timeline. Don't get lost in the future. Don't get lost in the past. Stay in the present to move forward. It might also be noted that she's holding a crystal ball, which allows you to get a 360 degree perspective of a situation. And we have, to finish off, we have the Hermit and gentleness. And so really spend some time alone with yourself. I love that they're both in the woods. You know, in the card, in the Vintage Wisdom Oracle deck, when in the description it talks about her being this like ghost bride floating through a deserted forest, and I don't know, it kind of trails off and it goes into this rambling, and I'm like, I don't really know how they're tying this whole theme together, but it does talk about, I think, being gentle with yourself through transformation and not going back, like not getting listful and looking back and wishing things were the way that they used to be, and then trying to go back into your old ways to like recreate that moment again. Instead, be fresh, be new, and receive the new that's coming in, right? Don't haunt your jilted past. Oh, wow. Where's the Hermit? She's like, where's that ghost? Little ghost, what I'm scared of the most. Can you scare me up a little bit loud? Y'all know that song I'm talking about? All right, y'all. Hermit time will help you get an idea of the parts of you and the patterns of your life that you no longer want to take with you. And this is such a great time to do it because we're rounding out the year, and like that mark of like a new year can, I don't know, I always really like those kinds of passages of time. They help me a lot. So take advantage. Everything in the universe right now is supporting this kind of progress, letting go of the old patterns, really getting to the heart and the root of the issues, and then moving forward unencumbered. So a good way to do that is to be magnetic work. They're starting a manifestation challenge to finish the year, and it kind of helps you get started in the workshops, like kind of like back to back, like all together with a big group of people, in the order that they kind of suggest that you start out anyway. And it's a good way to get offload a lot of patterns. It's a good way to get your mind wrapped around the things that you want to manifest in, you know, this coming year, and just kind of get clarity all around all of that. So I don't know, that was helpful for me last year, and I'm going to do it again this year. So that's something you can do. All right, y'all, take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.